Okay, let's do this lab thing. For our lab coming up on this Monday, the idea is that we go, I've just got my command and my little touchpad. I'm going into the parts bin. I'm going into CSC 130, which is a little lonely right now. I'm grabbing perhaps the world's worst grade calculator, and I'm going, okay, so I'm supposed to be changing this. Right now, all it does is I put in a couple of numbers here, I hit update, something crazy happens with this test thing. We got to figure that out, but that's fine. Two inputs get added together to come into the output here. Not particularly sophisticated. Certainly an ugly little calculator. You guys can definitely do lots with model and view. But the big question here is, what does this controller look like? And if I go into edit, I see the JavaScript. And again, great walkthrough in class. Thank you very much for our participant that helped out. I need to at least add midterms into this. Right now it has something to do with labs and projects. And just for the big picture here, I want to say, look, you guys can say, I have 2 inputs and I want to make 3 inputs. And one way to make 3 inputs out of 2 is just a copy. And so I'm just getting a halo on each one of these things, just the little text box there, and I'm getting halo everywhere where I don't want one. But anyway, I'm copying the input box and labs, and I'm saying, okay, I want to change this. This is going to be my midterms, and I'm going to change the name of the little input box here. If I could just get my halo right. Sorry, I'm not very good at getting my halo right. I'm going to change the name of this thing to be midterm mark or something like that. Say okay. And now I can go into my JavaScript. So I'm getting my halo, I'm getting my editor, and it's about patterns. It's really about patterns. I have these 2 variables declared, one for labs and one for projects. I'm going to come in here and do another one for midterms. And I'm just basically using the same pattern. I say var for variable. I say midterms, and I'm setting it equal to 0. And some of you are wondering why final mark wasn't set equal to 0. I just didn't want to be a big downer there. But so I've got labs and projects and midterms, and they're initialized as variables at a value of 0. These lines here that are getting from the input box, Anthony did a great little video on that for you. Oops, I just deleted one. I'm going to try to undo that. Gee, you know, again, I'll delete it one more time and then I'll try to get it right here. It's about recognizing that there's a pattern there, and I just copied that line, and I'm going to change it from projects to midterms. And I'm going to change it from the box that was called project mark to the name of the box that I just did there, and I think it was midterm, and I did a capital M there, I think. We'll see. And it's getting the value that's in that box and putting in a variable called midterm, and maybe that'll be it. I'm going to say save, and I'm going to close this down, and I'm going to try putting in like 230 here, and I'll say update, and oh, you know, the little test box came up. We have to see where that's coming from. That didn't seem to quite do it. I think there's something wrong. If I look at this closely and I stare at the pattern down here, you know, there could be things wrong that I might have named that box incorrectly. Maybe there's a capital, maybe there isn't a capital. You have to watch for that kind of thing. But the bigger thing is the data flow that goes from this function into this function here, calculate. You see, the final mark gets determined by a call to the function called calculate. I gotta pass in midterms as well if I want them to get used. And up here I have to say, hey, there's another value that's coming in. I'll just call it mids or something, because it can have a different name here. And if I were to change this to include that value now, then I've got maybe a chance of getting it right. I always have to test it out. I'll press update. Aha! Okay, good. It looks like I at least have 3 inputs, and they're all added together. That's not my final mark. I have to do some more gymnastics with my calculations. But I want to show you something else just while we're here. I'm going to edit this button and take a look. This is something Anthony, again, went over in a different video. But this says there's a function called click. And what it does is it calls the calculator's convert function, and that was the function that we were just editing in the other window there. And it also has this little line that says show test. If I change this to hello and I say save and I close this and I'm gonna change the value here just to do something else and I hit update, hello, now you know where that little show is coming from. Okay, you guys can do this. I want to see some beautiful grade calculators out there. Okay, get in there and get that lab done. Good luck. Get lots of questions asked. You can do that too.